son was in a terrible car wreck. The police woke me at 1 a.m. and rushed me to the emergency room. I held my son's hand and saw his life flash before my eyes. Then he died. A few family and friends gathered at my house and sat in shock, looking at one another without saying a word, not believing what had happened. I sat looking at the Christmas gifts under the tree, some of which would never be opened. After my friends left and I was alone, the anger hit me. I grabbed the Christmas tree and dragged it outside and threw it as hard as I could. Some neighbors were outside, about to get in their cars to go to work, and they just stood looking at me, probably thinking I had lost my mind. Although one of my son's friends told me that my son would have wanted me to celebrate Christmas, it was about the last thing I felt like doing. But there was no escaping Christmas, so I began to think that maybe my son's friend was right. A few days later, I went to the closet to get out what was left of the Christmas decorations. All I could find was a nativity scene that a dear elderly neighbor had given to my son when he was 6 years old, and one plastic icicle. So I pulled the small Mary, Joseph, and Jesus out and put it in the living room. I hung the plastic icicle from the chain on the ceiling fan. That would be the extent of my Christmas decorations and celebrations this year. As Christmas grew closer, I visited with family members and watched them opening presents, talking, and laughing over old memories. I planted a fake smile on my face and braved their joy and laughter. I simply had to turn off my emotion to the door of every house I visited. It was better to feel nothing than to ruin everyone else's happy holidays. I bought presents for those closest to me and wrapped them in blue paper with stars on it, which looked more like a gift from the Dallas Cowboys than a real Christmas present. After all the gatherings I had attended, I suddenly found myself alone on Christmas Day, just me and the nativity scene. The next Christmas, I was determined to avoid the holiday, which of course I found impossible to do. I heard Christmas carols on the car radio, all sorts of Christmas inserts arrived daily in my newspaper. The grocery store played "Oh Come All You Faithful" as I tried to buy groceries, and "It's a Wonderful Life" was on the TV about 47 times. When someone said Merry Christmas to me, I would mumble "Same to you" and retreat as soon as I could. I sat looking around at the quiet room and felt numb and alone and sad. Then my gaze fell on the nativity scene, and I realized I had never looked closely at it in the 20 years that I had been putting it up. What I saw finally that Christmas Day was a mother and a child. As though for the first time, I saw Mary as a gentle mother standing over the crib full of straw, watching over her son, and I began to wonder. I touched her blue robes and her sweet smile and thought, did you have a difficult delivery of this baby? Did you tell him stories and sing Itsy Bitsy Spider to him? Did you watch in amazement at how fast he grew into a young man? Did he fill your life with love and joy before he left too soon? Then I found myself pouring out my heart to her, telling her everything about myself. I shared my pain with her and took the pain of losing her son as part of my own, and I cried for her. I thought of all the other people who were in the same position as I was, all those people who had loved and lost someone, whether it was a son, a mother, a father, or a good friend, and were trying to survive the Christmas holidays just as I was. I realized that I was not alone at all, and I cried for them too. All of a sudden, I was enveloped in a blanket of love that wrapped around me, held me close, and would not let me go, and I was surrounded by a sense of peace that I had never known before. At that moment, I knew that everything would be okay. I would survive this test of my faith because of a mother's love, the same love that helped Mary to survive the loss of her son, the Lamb of God, the baby born in a manger.
Mary, do you know that your baby boy would one day walk on water? Mary, do you know that your baby save our sons and daughters? Did you know that your baby were in